Welcome to BTech. It's Basil here comparing the iPhone 5S with the Sony Xperia Z1 Compact, focusing exclusively on the cameras. Now the two are very different hardware wise. The iPhone 5S packs an 8 megapixel sensor and f2.2 lens, and it also has a dual LED true tone flash. That's one warm, one cool to produce incredible color accuracy. It also takes shots in a traditional 6:4 aspect ratio. Now the Sony Xperia Z1 Compact may produce 8 megapixel pictures, but it has a 20.7 megapixel sensor. The reason for this is it does something called oversampling, grabbing a load of pixels and squishing them into a smaller pixel count picture to produce a better quality image. The lens aperture is also a nice wide open f2, and it has a more traditional LED flash akin to that found on the original Sony Xperia Z1. Now down to the images, and we're going to start off outdoors. We took two shots, one of a set of buildings and one of a London cityscape with St Paul's in the right hand corner. Starting with the skies, and we can see both have quite different blues. The Sony Xperia Z1 Compact is more subdued, whereas the Apple iPhone 5S has more pop. The iPhone 5S would actually look a little bit better on Facebook, for example. It just looks a little bit more saturated, a little bit richer. It isn't quite as true to life though, given the fact the building on the right hand side was actually whiter than the iPhone 5S shows it off, suggesting the iPhone upped the saturation to make the image look a little bit more pleasing. Having said that, the Sony Xperia Z1 might not look as poppy, but it has grabbed a little bit more detail, both in the St Paul's Cathedral dome and in the right hand building of our first picture. Moving on to macro and detail is once again where the Sony Xperia Z1 wins out. We expected both of these phones to focus nice and sharply on the E of Pebble, whereas the iPhone 5S gave us a little bit of focusing issue, which surprised us. An additional highlight of the Sony Xperia Z1 macro shot was the depth of field it produced thanks to the f2 lens. All in all, both look very good, but the Sony Xperia Z1 Compact definitely wins out. Everything's flipped on its head though when we go to a medium light shot. This kind of ambience with a blue curtain casting a slight blue hue over our cat, Norman, really did throw a few challenges at both cameras. The area the Sony Xperia Z1 won out was probably this time in terms of color accuracy, just insofar as the blue hue of the curtain is reflected in Norman's fur. The iPhone 5S definitely picks out more detail, suggesting in mediocre lighting like a dinner party for example, it might, without a flash, take a better shot. Drop the lights right down though, and once again, things are flipped on their head. The Sony Xperia Z1 Compact produces a stellar low light shot, especially given the fact there's no optical image stabilization on here. The lights were really low, we have to stress, and it still managed to pick up some detailing from the bookshelf. The iPhone 5S, in contrast, only really managed to grab the highlights, such as the cologne bottle on the top shelf. Finally, it's down to flash, and the iPhone 5S just edges ahead ever so slightly. While flash power is quite similar for both, the iPhone 5S produces better color accuracy, not to mention a better exposed shot overall. The Xperia Z1 Compact picture is slightly overexposed, although it does grab more detail, as you can see from the typography when you zoom right in on the pictures. All in all though, both great camera phones, but we have to say this comparison was won by the Xperia Z1 Compact hands down. If you have any questions, please fire them in the comments section below, and I have to stress, I'm not a photographer, I'm a photo buff, so head over to btech.com, the article is in that link below and in the annotations, and over there you can download the pictures for yourself and reach your own decision. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the video? Click the subscribe button on the bottom left hand side of the screen, and on the right side of the screen is where you will find 3 hand-picked videos for your viewing pleasure.